Well, welcome to Clown in the Town Television. Today's show, Pastor Wyle Drake, who's one of my pastors. I have several pastors that I work with and I console with for religious issues. Senator Nancy Schaffer of Georgia was murdered. The next day, she was supposed to come out with a bunch of information and child trafficking, sex trafficking, the foster care system, the government, how the government was involved. Pastor Wyle Drake talks about it. Her husband, she had talked to Pastor Wyle Drake, and by the way, he's down in Buena Park. He runs a shelter down there. He has a Baptist church, and he just does a great job. He's the one that I went to on December 1st in the morning with imprecatory prayer and asked him how I could call God down in this county for the way they treat foster children. And I did. I called him down. And you saw what happened December 2nd. A health department official came out and murdered 15. So, you know, what God allows to happen, it's not up to me, it's up to him. And that's not saying that people were bad that were murdered, because he sometimes takes the best of the best. But imprecatory prayer is a heck of a way to resolve some issues. And God has his hand in all of that. You're going to see Rosie DeWart. Rosie runs a group called Tears on Facebook. That's T-E-A-R-S. Rosie is very active in getting children back. She's done a great job, and she's been responsible for getting several children back. Also, you're going to see some other issues on today's show, and I hope you enjoy them all. And there's a lot to be covered. And thank you for watching Clown in the Town.
Welcome to today's Board of
I have the privilege to represent the Congressional Prayer Conference in Washington, D.C. And so anyway, I called this office and they said, Pastor, you didn't hear? Bruce and Nancy were shot to death yesterday. That's Nancy Schaffer. Nancy Schaffer was a close friend of mine. Nancy Schaffer paid the ultimate price for fighting child sex trafficking. They said that her husband, now ladies and gentlemen, I'm an old investigator. I go way back. I was a licensed investigator in the state of Texas for about 10 years. I investigated this case. I got the FBI report, and on the report it says there were no nitrate deposits on the body of Bruce, her husband, except where he shot himself. Now, if I fire a weapon, nitrate deposits go all over my arm, my hair, all over my torso. Right. All you gotta do is turn a black light on and it'll show up. And they said there were no nitrate. So that proved that he did not fire the shot. Right. Somebody else did. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, if you get in the business of fighting the government, you better be packing heat, and you better wear a bulletproof vest, because they will come after you. And if you don't believe that, all you got to do is go to the website and research Wyle Drake, and you'll find out how many times I've been in jail and how many times I've been shot at. So far, fortunately, I've never been shot, only shot at. The guy was a bad shot, and I was quick moving. Now, I didn't want to get shot. I mean, I move quick when I don't want to get shot. But we're here today, folks, to tell you that I'm here. I'm here as the investigative liaison for the Congressional Prayer Conference of Washington, D.C. And if they will allow me to speak this morning, I'm going to say to the supervisors of these two counties, you are offending children. Your rules are offending children. And Jesus in the Bible said, if you so much as offend a little child, God will get you. And it'd be better that you would have a millstone tied about your neck and thrown into the deepest part of the ocean than to offend one of these little children. Amen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this county, Riverside County and San Bernardino County, has offended children. In Orange County, we had a case, for example, they offended a child by investigating the child, a minor, by interrogating the child, a minor, without parental consent. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And therefore, they took it to court. We took it to the court of public opinion and nobody really cared. They hired a great attorney from down in San Diego, and he took the case all the way, Sean, that's right, took the case all the way to the Supreme Court. They fought the fight. We talked about it on this show. We took it all the way to Washington, D.C., to the Supreme Court. At that point, I recommended to the family, I said, y'all need to just ask them to settle for $500,000 and walk away from it. That was my pastoral advice. They said, no, we're taking it all the way to the Supreme Court. When they took it to the Supreme Court not only gave the family $8 million, but they gave them another $3 million in punitive damage, and Orange County paid a total of $11 million for offending that child. Yeah, okay.
Can I say a couple words?
Sure, go right ahead. You're on.
Okay, there's an attorney out there that's probably closest to God walking the earth that I know. And she's been fighting foster care since the 90s. I went to a county board of supervisor meeting in Los Angeles County, and she spoke back in the 90s, 3 and 5-year-olds with gonorrhea. The county was denying it was happening, basically African-American children. She was suing the county. And this has been going on for
What's
years.
her name?
Linda Wallace Pate. She's put in 22...
P-A-G-E?
Yes, sir.
Linda Wallace Pate. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 things I want you to do. Congressional Prayer Conference of Washington, D.C. I want you immediately to put Linda Wallace Pate on the prayer list. And I want to meet this lady because I want her to know we'll pray for her every day.
Well, Pastor, what's happening is that they give you a petition and then they give you an order. And in the order it says there's supposed to be reunification. There isn't any. They're violating the law. They're ripping people off. And if you go look at what happens to these pregnant women that they're taking their kids on illegal drug screening, what they're doing is they're taking, if you're on welfare, they give you half the mandatory drug screening. And it's not a drug test, it's drug screening. They're violating the law. And then when they bill that, if you go look at the skewer or the code they bill it under, they have been ripping off, the county has been ripping off the feds for years of billions of dollars. So we're hoping we can get a lawsuit somewhere along the line to turn this stuff around, because it doesn't seem like anybody's listening besides God, Pastor Wiley, and the victims. Society doesn't seem to be voting. They don't seem to be, I mean, they're so busy trying to pay off that $200 million an hour interest loan that we have to China.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
I don't like that contract, $200 or $300 an hour. I mean, you can go get paralegals for $10 an hour. Bankruptcy proceedings that he's ratcheted up on and hiring all these people. He's hiring all these, they don't want to listen to me, I'll talk to you guys. Because you got to talk, you got to look at me when I'm talking, you guys, because I didn't come up here. Okay, you don't want to look at me, let me look at the audience, because I want somebody to listen to what I got to say. Okay, we're going to talk about 19 foster children. County supervisors, you are faced with many moral decisions, especially Mr. Ovitt being an ordained minister. God, and then your guy ordained you? That's between you and God. I wouldn't want to be in your place, so. But you guys, Mr. Lovingood, Mr. Ramos, Mr. Ovitt, you guys are in charge of the foster kids. Those are your kids. So when they grow up, I got a friend come over last night, and he brought this girl, 29.
She'd been in foster care. She said, Mr. Snell, they bounced me around week to week to week, then they finally got me in a placement. The guy molested me till I was an adult and got out of there. So what I'm telling you, you guys, these are horror stories coming out. I've also put in a request for the county to come clean on how many children that has been sued for the abuse in foster care. And once that's, see, what happens is you guys need to reach the bottom. You need to reach the bottom before you can change. And you haven't found your bottom yet. With these foster kids, this stuff needs to be exposed. You guys sit there in those closed sessions, you deal with these lawsuits, you know what's going on. It's got to be changed. You cannot. And then these little girls, like she was telling me, 18 and working in a titty bar, Mr. Snell, was too much money for me. So you take these girls that can't even get a soda from their foster parents, you put them out in the real world, and then you bring Nave Myers in to set up these new restrictions on titty bars. I just wanted 18 and 19-year-olds in this county to quit exploiting teenagers in the nude entertainment business. Thank you, and God bless, and have a good day. Barbara, you're the chip of all chips, man. I love you for coming here every week, and you do an excellent job. That's who your award should go to next time. Now they're down to 2. I wish you probably don't even wish you were here today. I'm E.T. Snell, your local clown community activist. I got 2 people up here I brought today. I want to speak on 13. You guys aren't going to listen to me, I'll talk to the audience. The situation is, are we listening now? Still not listening. Oh my God. Josie left. I don't blame you, Josie, because what this little girl went through at the age of 5, she was put in foster care. Went to about 20 different homes. At the age of 12, she was adopted out. You need to hear this, Miss Rutherford. You guys, Ovitt and Ramos, I'd be hiding your heads too, especially you, Gary Ovitt, with the bail bonds issues. We're going to get to that in a minute. They adopted her out at 5. I mean, at foster care, they took her at 5. Adopted her out at 12. 20 foster care homes. The abuse she went through was unconscionable. I even cried, Mr. Lovingood. And that takes a lot. I've been beat by 5 men and couldn't cry. But her story brought me to my knees. So, after 5, 20 foster cares, they adopt her out at 12 years old. At 12 years old, the guy goes to another 20. And then what happens? He gets out of prison. You know what the county does? They put her back in the same foster care. Oh my God.
This next clip, if you're not over 18, please turn off the television set. This will give you nightmares. This is crazy. This story is about Amber Rosemary Putnam, real name Putnam, who was adopted by the Simon family. She was adopted at 12. She was put in foster care, 5, 6 years old. They took her from the parents, no charges filed. It was astonishing. The guy winds up adopting her at 12. He molests her. She tells on him. He winds up doing 6 months in jail, a year probation. He was a big Verizon official, and I've seen the court documents, reduction after reduction after reduction after reduction. Absolutely insane what went on in this case. Judge Limcow, he was a district attorney at the time. He's the one that took the baby from the mother in Victorville. The father wound up killing the baby and himself. Because he was Mormon, Judge Limcow was Mormon, he let the father keep the baby, and the baby's dead now. But we fought against getting rid of him. It's astonishing what's going on in these courthouses when it comes to children. Nancy Schaffer, she was murdered for blowing the whistle. Ready to blow the whistle. Judge Kamansky, a pedophile judge, took a boy off the bench, Jason Wayne Bumpus, off the bench in front of his grandmother, took him home, sodomized him, wound up, the Commission on Judicial Performance says, bring us the tape, Judge Kamansky. He goes up there, tapes over the tape. The commission gave him a public reproval. We asked what was on the tape as a public activist, political activist, and investigative reporter. You'll see the press pass. Said I had a right to know. They said they couldn't tell us because of the confidentiality of Judge Kamansky's investigation. He's still a judge at Inland Arbitration and Mediation. His cousin was a county supervisor, Joe Kamansky. But Amber's stepping forward, and if anybody's out there that knows how to write books or is a script writer, Amber's story needs to be told. So get a hold of me, etsnell@yahoo.com. I'll hook you up with Amber. We'll tell the story. The situation is now, and it's really astounding what's going on, is these unions have a stranglehold on these politicians, and they won't stand up to them because you out there aren't paying attention. You're asleep at the switch. It's a great country, but the trouble is we keep electing these same county officials in San Bernardino, LA, Riverside. We need to replace them all. We need people that'll stand up to the social workers union. Well, I have a big salute for Amber, Simon, and here we go with the clip.
Amber. My real name by birth is Amber Rose Marie Putnam, but my name was changed when I was 5 years old to Amber Rose Simon. Reason being, because I was taken from my parents, Sonia and Mike, and adopted when I was 5. I was part of a system called Fast Track because my mother and father made a mistake, and as a result of their mistake, my little brother Scosh and I were taken into foster care. My mom was given 6 months to get together, and because my father didn't sign my birth certificate or Scotia's birth certificate, he wasn't able to do anything. Because back in the 80s, and early 90s, they didn't give the fathers that kind of right, I guess. But I was 5 when I was adopted, and I remember my mother and my father very, very vividly, and I remember being loved very much. And for that, I want to say to my mom and my dad, you guys are my heroes. Too bad for you, CPS. Too bad for you, County of San Bernardino. I got my mother's fight, my father's heart, and I got the wisdom, the patience, and the courage to know that what was done to me and my family is wrong. And I will do whatever it takes so that we have that justice. Because after 23 years of being separated from my family, I got to meet them again. And I found out I have 2 older brothers, a 14-year-old sister, and a 20-year-old little brother. On top of the 27-year-old brother that I have now, that I grew up with, fortunately and gratefully. When I was adopted, they didn't screen the family very well. And so in their eyes, they thought they did the right thing by putting me in a home with people that had money. And the ability to put me in a good public school and have nice things and go to soccer and Girl Scouts and have all that paid for and live in an upscale neighborhood. And that was going to fix all the problems that was bestowed upon me. No, it didn't fix anything. In fact, I was molested and taken advantage of. And in my eyes, I feel that I was brainwashed and manipulated into becoming a child sex slave. I, in fact, ended up being a stripper and a prostitute by the time I was 18 years old. And the reason being, because when I was 12, I told somebody. And I was put back into foster care. When, in fact, it was supposed to be an open adoption from the gate. And my mother and my father did not know where I was from the day that I was adopted at the age of 5. So I went back into the system. Miserable. And I was a child, and I just wanted to go home with my mommy and my daddy. And you know what happened to me instead? Foster home after foster home after foster home. Juvenile home, foster home, foster home. I was raped in one foster home and put in a safe house for 30 days because they were worried about my safety. And you know what they did to try to cover up this mistake that they made? Because they obviously didn't screen the man that adopted me well enough. They decided to put me in therapy with him and his wife and put me back in that home at the age of 15. Where's the justice in that? Where's the justice for me? I didn't know I was given a lawyer at that time. I was forced to do therapy that I didn't want to do. And all this time, I still didn't know where my mommy and my daddy were. I'm 29 years old, and I finally met them this year, 2014, in February. My mother, my poor mom, she's carried that pain in a worse way. She's my hero. And my daddy, he didn't give up on me when I met him. And he just stayed there. And he didn't leave, and he promised me he'd never let me go again. But he hasn't. I had my mother's fight, my father's heart, and I will get justice for me and my family. I will get justice.